Imagine this: an online document publicly available containing guidelines and reading material about an ongoing protest movement is compiled by a group of activists. The document contains articles and links so that people can educate themselves about the movement, and also gives calls to action for peaceful protests. Around the world, for dozens of years, hundreds and thousands of such documents have been circulated as pamphlets, books, and now online documents, and are used to support the struggle for women's equality, India's independence, civil rights movements, protecting the environment, and so on and so forth. However, dictatorships who don't allow their people to protest obviously see peaceful movements and the literature they produce as seditious. But democracies are meant to be different. Sadly, in the reality we're now living in here in India, the government and law enforcement are prone to seeing conspiracies everywhere. That is why even peaceful protests are seen as bad, and those who attempt to organize such protests, either directly or as an act of solidarity, are seen as waging a social, cultural, and economic war against the government of India. Those are the exact words the Delhi police has now invoked in arresting a 22-year-old climate activist, Disha Ravi. In a tweet, the police have officially claimed the young woman is a key conspirator in the formulation and dissemination of a toolkit created to coordinate peaceful protests around the world in support of India's farmers. However, the police has so far not explained what laws the toolkit broke, or why formulating and disseminating its contents is not just a crime, but apparently an act of sedition. The Delhi police has also named Nikita Jacob, a Bombay lawyer who the police claim is absconding at the moment. According to the police, she's also a key conspirator of the evil toolkit that is being used to wage war against the government of India. But what exactly is this toolkit? And is it really as seditious and conspiratorial a document as the Delhi police seems to believe? Sedition, criminal conspiracy, and promoting hatred. Those are the charges leveled against the creators of the toolkit by the Delhi police. And it all began after climate activist Greta Thunberg tweeted a Google Docs file on February 3rd. She wrote, "Here's a toolkit if you want to help." Apart from giving petitions to sign, the toolkit asked for a specific set of actions by the readers. Twitter storms, Zoom sessions, calling up government representatives, and sharing solidarity photos and videos. It uses the phrase digital strike along with the hashtag #AskIndiaWhy, which makes it clear that the strike in question is a call for a storm on social media. Environmental groups in the West generally use the term digital strike for a coordinated action like a tweet storm. There is nothing illegal or violent about it. It also calls for conducting on-ground solidarity protests at or near Indian embassies, and also at various multinational Adani and Ambani companies on January 26th. According to an Indian Express report, it is this particular section that the Delhi police says seems to indicate that the violence on Republic Day was premeditated and a part of a conspiracy. But how exactly does it do that? Neither the police nor those TV channels losing sleep over the document are able to explain. There is no mention of storming the Red Fort in the entire document. There is no talk of hoisting the Nishan Sahib there. What it does say about the tractor rally is this: watch out for or join the Farmers' March/Parade, a first of its kind, into Delhi and back to the borders on 26 January. Thunberg later deleted the toolkit, saying it was outdated. She's now posted a newer version of the document via her Twitter handle. The names of Adani and Ambani in this particular version have been removed. Toolkits have existed through the course of history. In fact, every non-violent movement has had some form of a toolkit. Today, it's a Google Doc file shared on social media. In the past, it was a document, a leaflet, or even a book. A database of global non-violent movements maintained by Swarthmore College notes nearly 300 protests that have functioned out of some form of a toolkit. British citizens campaigning for the abolition of the slave trade in the 18th century, or even Mahatma Gandhi campaigning for the independence of India during the Salt Satyagrah, all have depended on some semblance of what we call a toolkit today. In fact, during the Salt Satyagrah, the toolkit of then manifested into public speeches, declarations of indictments and intention, slogans, caricatures, symbols, newspapers and journals, displays of flag and symbolic colors, boycotts, marches, singing, hunger strikes, and so on. Today, it's a Twitter storm, a Zoom meeting, sharing solidarity photos and videos, signing petitions, and organizing non-violent protests. And that's not all. During the emergency, opposition activists travel abroad and develop transnational networks with journalists, donors, dissenters, and intellectuals to protest against the emergency. They call themselves the smugglers of truth. They held demonstrations in their countries of residence and smuggled pamphlets into India. pamphlets that today would be known as a toolkit. Had the Delhi police been investigating the salt satyagrah or the smugglers of truth, we would have a drastically different history to live with today.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.